Welcome everyone to the sixth-round post-fight show for UFC 211. Stipe Miocic versus Junior Dos Santos 2 in Dallas, Texas. This is Zane Simon, joined by Eddie Mercado of BloodyElbow.com. Here to give you all the results, recap the event, talk about it, try and get over what was a pretty fantastic night of fights. Because, man, I had a good time. It's not like the craziest card I've ever seen or anything, but it was a big event that delivered. I'm happy.
Yeah, it was a huge event. It delivered. It was a relevant card, a lot of meaningful fights, and it's coming off of a 2-week hiatus, so everyone got their MMA fix, which is much needed.
Yeah. The UFC, they really went into that 2-week hiatus too, like with no buzz whatsoever. And I don't even know if this card created a lot of buzz, but at the very least, it gave me something that I'm going to be thinking about and talking about and looking at for the next couple weeks. We don't have a card next week either. So this card kind of had to do, it couldn't be a complete fuck up. Like it couldn't afford to do what UFC 210 did, where you had like Anthony Johnson just go out there with the worst game plan and then retire, and all the other weirdness that went on with that card. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And we still got our controversy. Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez ending up a no contest due to some clearly illegal knees that, I mean, this whole intentional, unintentional shit just, I fucking hate it because, like, he meant to throw a knee. Even if he didn't know Dustin Poirier's foot or like knee was down, that's up to him to know. Like, that's on him to know that shit. And he threw the knee without knowing it. So,
and it's so subjective. Like, how is a referee supposed to understand the intentions of a fighter, especially once they get as rocked as Alvarez was? I mean, who knows what state of mind? He probably didn't even know what year it was. You know what I mean? So he's just out there fighting. It's up to the referee to make the judgment call. And beyond that, what's with these referees exiting the octagon to like consult with somebody? This is bullshit, man. Like that needs to stop. Like you're the official, officiate.
I would rather see them consult with somebody than I'm honestly okay with the consultation. Like,
well, then make that the rule, though. You know what I mean? Like, that should be the rule.
Yeah.
If it's not the rule, it seems foul to me.
Yeah. I mean, the problem really, like somebody mentioned it on Twitter, and it as a very true point. It's very much the way I think the commissions are structured all the way down, from commissioners to referees to fighters, is that, like, it's the referee's discretion to decide whether something's intentional or not. And the referee's going to base that on what they know about the fighter who did it. So in the case of Herb Dean, like, he knows Eddie Alvarez. He knows Eddie Alvarez isn't a dirty fighter. So he's going to say this wasn't intentional. He didn't mean to do this thing. And that's the discretion he's given. And it really, like, unfortunately, that's such a good old boy's way of running things. Because it's just like, your ref likes the fighter involved. That fighter can get away with murder.
I mean, hey, that's true. Like, when you have a position that is, it's so subjective, you're gonna have those biases. Yep. And I mean, you can't escape it. But I mean, what are you gonna do though? I mean, like, it's really hard. We have humans fighting each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to make this black and white. There's just so many.
Yeah, you want to say just draw the line. Any illegal strike that ends a match is a disqualification loss. But that, you end up, that feels fair, but it's just not the way most combat sports run, honestly.
It does sound fair, and maybe it should be fair. And then, like, the protocol will be, well, if it's debatable, you go get it through an appeal process.
Yeah.
And handle it that way.
Unfortunately, the appeal process in MMA is really, commissions are like, well, what did the ref say? Then he's up to his discretion, so that's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be tightened up. A lot of loose ends going on with officiating and rules, and like,
we'll get back to all this because we got to talk about that fight later. But let's start out with the title fight. Stipe Miocic retains the heavyweight title, his second title defense, now tying him for most all time with every other heavyweight champion in the world.
Yeah, when you're in the same category as Tim Sylvia for anything, I mean, you really can't hold much credence to the.
Nonetheless, I
Hey,
did not expect that fight to go that way at all. I thought that Junior Dos Santos would be elusive, would make Stipe. It would look more like their first fight, but with JDS actually doing a better job of avoiding strikes and staying at range. Instead, he just backed himself straight into the fence over and over again, and then had to he backed himself into corners in a circle. Man,
man,
it was a
you know
devastating
what?
loss.
Every single time he exits the clinch, he just drops his hands and runs away, as if like that's how he trains. His training partners don't go after him when he exits the clinch, and I cringe every single time he does that. And
Yeah.
he's just so bad about putting his back up against the fence. I was really expecting more. He really disappointed me in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the way he came out against Rothwell, it shows the difference of closing footwork between Ben Rothwell and Stipe Miocic,
Oh,
frankly.
oh yeah,
That,
like vastly different.
yeah, the fact that Dos Santos was able to be as elusive as he was against Ben Rothwell has to do with how little, how comparatively little distance Rothwell can cover as quickly as Stipe Miocic.
Yeah, Stipe, he showed up. He did exactly what he should have done. And fuck, 2 minutes and 22 seconds, he dusted Junior Dos Santos.
Yep.
Wow. Lost battalion all the way for JDS, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot. This title shot kind of came mostly because he was able to sit out while everybody else fucked up. So
That's heavyweight, man.
it is.
It's
It was
such a
still,
weird
I mean,
division.
you can't argue with a heavyweight title fight that ends in a round. Like, I got no problem with that, especially after coming after the 5 round exhibition of absolute beautiful skill that was Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Jessica Andrade.
Oh man, I love me a good old fashioned outclassing, and that's exactly what this was. I mean, exactly. Andrade did what she should have done. She came out strong, went right after the champion, throwing big, powerful punches. Even lumped her head up pretty good too. But man, Joanna came out in that second round and she's like, all right, you know what? I know what you got. I know I can take it. I'm gonna put it on you now, and that's what she did. She used her footwork and her straight lightning jab that is phenomenal. Wow.
The thing is too, I think Andrade, obviously her cardio is amazing. Jessica Andrade's cardio is amazing, but like she fought like Joanna Jędrzejczyk's wasn't. Like she fought in the first 2 rounds. Like I can go out here and blitz this one early, and I'm not gonna have to pay for it if I spend a whole bunch of energy. Like the way that she was lifting all those big slams and all. Like Joanna's takedown defense is unbelievably good. You're not gonna out wrestle her without expending a ton of energy. And while Andrade didn't, she never got to the point late in the fight where she just couldn't throw or was totally gassed out. By the time the fourth and fifth rounds came, especially the fifth round, she lost enough steam that Joanna could just step in and throw with her. Like it was like, okay, I don't have to, there wasn't enough steam on the punches anymore for her to worry about it.
And I think that's a testament to all the leg kicks and just all the damage that Andrade was eating and absorbing. I mean, even though she kept walking through it and kept coming forward, she absorbed a lot of strikes. I mean, a lot.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, you saw the significant strike number chart they put up at the end there, and it was just like, Joanna's over here off the screen, and Andrade is the little bar down there.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Like I honestly, I picked Joanna. I thought she could be the matador. I thought that her ability to exit on angles would be a huge problem for Andrade. I still expected her to get rocked and maybe dropped at least once, and to have to have a really bad round potentially. Honestly, I know a couple people gave Andrade that first round, but I didn't.
I was this close of doing it, but I didn't. Like, I couldn't.
I mean,
She
you
got
saw
lit
the
up.
punch stat numbers later on. You really gonna say that like 3 takedowns didn't lead to anything is worth getting outstruck 3-1?
Yeah, well, the reason it was close for me is because Andrade really came out throwing heavy heat
Yeah,
to start, and she really cracked Joanna a couple times,
she did. She
but
did.
not enough to take the round in my eyes.
No, I
I
mean,
gave her the fifth round though.
you gave Andrade the 5th round?
Yeah, I thought she was landing the more significant strikes.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
I might be. It might be the Crown Royal
It
talking,
might
but
be the Crown Royal. It
I
might.
thought Andrade. I gave her the fifth.
She
It
did.
seemed like
I
she
mean,
was landing the more significant strikes.
she came hard all fight. You know, I'll give that for Andrade, but it was.
But you know what else? It's almost as if Joanna Champion's jab started to develop into a significant strike as the fight went on,
Yeah.
and that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point that there were points late in that fight where Miocic was tripling up on her jab as Andrade would step in, and then Andrade would jump into the clinch, eat a hard knee, and Joanna would exit on an angle and just be back like disappeared.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Andrade just doesn't have the footwork. She just
No.
doesn't have the footwork to keep up. She can't cut the ring off or the cage off, so she's just left chasing with these wide punches, and she just got picked apart on her way on the inside.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was
Good fight,
absolutely
though.
beautiful.
Fun to
And it was,
watch.
especially for Miocic looking like she's even another step better. I gotta say, I know Rose Namajunas is next, but did you see the pictures of her on the sideline with her like looking dead-eyed and grim? Part of me is like, Rose is a killer. Part of me is like, she's just seen the other side of the tunnel and is like, no.
Yeah, it's almost as if their styles are a little bit similar with the kind of the in and out, but Rose is not that long, and she is, and over the course of her fight, that first round technique of the in and out and looking really good starts to deteriorate. Over 5 rounds, I'm not sure, and there is no way Rose is getting that fight to the ground. Like,
Yeah,
no
I mean, that's
way.
a big thing for Rose that she can really count on too. Like, she hits hard, she fights long. Both these things are good, but her back pocket is always that she's a pretty damn good wrestler for the division, and she can use that to really throw people off and open up her striking a little more. She's not getting Joanna down.
Yeah. You know what I liked? Joanna didn't really throw like kicks on the break. Like in some of her past fights, she was real bad about like she would get in a little bit of trouble in a flurry, and she would finish with like this weird body kick with no steam on it, and she completely cut that shit out.
Yeah, she came from this whole, she came from the Dutch school, which is all about combos with a kick, like finish every combination with a kick, and she had the habit ingrained. It seemed like it was just there permanently. That it was, if somebody's coming after me, back them off by flurries with kick, flurry with a kick. And it set her up to get hard. I mean, that was the thing I expected her to get caught on against Andrade. When she would get caught, I assumed it would be Andrade would come after her, bully her, and Miocic would throw 3 or 4 punches that would hit Andrade but not back her up, and that kick, and eat a hard hook for it. And the only time she did that was once the fight was late enough that, like I say, once it got to a certain point where she just knew that Andrade didn't have the steam to hurt her anymore, then she started sitting down in the pocket a little more and flurrying a little.
Yeah, it was, man, what an outing from Miocic.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see her full potential and where she'll go from here. She's 29, so I mean, who knows how much longer she'll be fighting.
Yeah, she says she wants to start a family and walk away at some point soon, but it's always an indefinite soon. It's just like, well, maybe I'll win a belt at 125. Maybe I'll break a title defense record. I don't know. But
I think if the UFC keeps pushing her and throwing money at her, she'll be around for a little bit.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to a split decision welterweight fight. Title number 1 contender named Damian Maia versus Jorge Masvidal. And I scored it for Maia, but did you score it for Maia?
I didn't. I actually scored it 30-27 for Masvidal. And not even like feeling good about it either. Just because like each round was a tale of two fights. Like,
Yeah.
the first round was Masvidal, and the second half of the round was Maia. But Maia was just controlling really and not doing too much damage. Whereas when Masvidal was striking, he was visibly hurting Maia. So I had to give each round to Masvidal on damage, but I'm not upset with the decision at all.
Yeah, I think like he did land hard shots on Maya when he got the opportunity, but it really like none of them were so decisive that I felt I was ever like, oh, that's like these strikes are changing this fight, you know? It
Well,
was
it
always
wasn't that
like,
they were changing the fight. It was just that they were more significant than any strike that Maya was landing,
yeah,
especially in
and
the first round. I really almost gave it to Maya, but I mean, Masvidal landed the better strikes there at the end.
no, I understand. I understand that those strikes at the end of the first, I think those would be the biggest case for Masvidal in a round. Like that's where I could really see like, you
And
know, he really did something good in that round. But the rest of the fight, I don't know. He got way into that Jorge Masvidal thing where he's just, you never see somebody happier to be losing who's more sure he's winning than Jorge Masvidal.
well, there was at the beginning of the second round, Masvidal threw a leg kick that absolutely hurt Maya. I mean,
Yeah,
Maya started limping. I mean, that's damage. So in his
it's
mind,
true.
he's probably like, "Oh, I'm up on the scorecards. I have yet to be hurt."
Yep.
So
It's Masvidal is all about that. Like, well, you haven't done anything that you haven't bloodied me up. You haven't done anything to hurt me. I'm winning.
And you know
And,
what? That's exactly why he's been on the losing end of multiple split decisions.
yep.
It's a tough
Sucks.
break for him, but
The I picked him to win this fight, and it was so clear in every round how he could win it. You know, there were stretches, strong stretches in every round where it's like you have this, like, and even in the second, especially when he started like he stuffed and sprawled on Maya perfectly, and then he just stayed in there and like let Maya wrap a leg up and pull him into this extended scramble. It's like, oh man, all you had to do was just walk away. Just walk
yeah,
away.
he should have treated Maya like the plague. Like anytime he got anywhere near him, he should have sprawled and just ran away, and he
Yeah.
would have walked away with it.
Yeah.
I thought Maya was going to win this by split decision, but I thought he might have got a late finish, and he almost did.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess that should be scored too. I mean, trying
Yeah.
to finish the fight, But I'm just so glad he's getting the title shot. I'm so glad he's getting the title shot.
Yeah. Are you really excited for a Maya Woodley fight though?
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, I absolutely love Jake Shields versus Damian Maya. I
Okay.
absolutely love that fight. So
Okay.
yes, and I pray that Woodley and Maya tangle. I hope they absolutely grapple it out for 5 rounds.
I sure as shit hope it's not a striking match. Last thing I need to see is Maya either getting slept in a minute or 5 rounds of Maya just watching Woodley as Woodley watches Maya.
Shit, or like Woodley backing himself up to the fence and Maya just standing there not doing anything for 5 rounds.
Maya on one side of the octagon and Woodley on the other, both of them circling around the fence like forever. Yeah, no. It's gonna be like I'm happy for Maya, but it's an almost unsellable fight in terms of like a title fight, exciting title fight. I don't know how.
I mean, most of Maya's fights are unsellable, to be quite honest. Like, unless you're like a true head, you don't give a fuck about that dude.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's why the UFC tried so hard not to give him a title shot.
Yeah, but hey, he took the Masvidal fight. Good on him.
So before that, Frankie Edgar, Yair Rodriguez, Frankie doing work on that kid.
I love it. I absolutely
Yeah.
love it. You know what I mean? It's like, sit down, bruh. Like, too much too soon. Hype train.
Passionate to see the old man put a kid in his place.
I liked it. I thought it was the way things should be. I feel like the universe is in order right now,
It's true. After a year where actually, we've seen a lot of fights where the old vet, like Jessica Aguilar, Courtney Casey, where like the longtime seasoned veteran is just getting worked by this fighter who to date has not been nearly good enough to beat them. you know, or Renato Moicano, Jeremy Stevens coming to mind, and all these fights that we've seen like that this year. Edgar Yair Rodriguez, that does feel like putting the universe in order, where there was an inkling that it was going to be Yair landing some ridiculous head kick, and then everybody being like, Frankie Edgar was always trash.
No, but I mean, it was man, it was exactly what I thought it would be. Yeah. Even though I had so many doubts going in, like you said, Rodriguez is going to come out and kick him in the face, the height discrepancy. But man, Edgar is just on a whole nother level. And I think this will be an excellent learning experience for Rodriguez. I mean, look what Cub Swanson did after he fought Frankie Edgar. He got embarrassed and then came back with the vengeance.
Fighters.
Well, there might be something to that. Maybe Rodriguez doesn't belong near the top 5 right now. I mean, cut his teeth a little bit.
The thing is that there aren't going to be that many other fighters that can do what Frankie Edgar does, though. That's the other part to it. Like,
that's fair.
There aren't that many other guys at 145 who have crushing top control, especially with Chad Mendez out, serving his suspension.
Yeah, I mean, Lamas can sometimes, but that's pretty much it in the top 10.
And Lamas isn't the best. I mean, Lamas is an opportunist everywhere. He's not the most technical wrestler or grappler or kickboxer in the world. He's just the dude that when you screw up, he's right there to make you pay for it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I am excited to see how he's gonna bounce back and who they're gonna put him up against.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I mean, there's so many good rising fighters at featherweight right now, so there's a lot of room for him to fight somebody fun in a heartbeat. Yeah,
as long as he's going the other way in the rankings. Yep. But real quick, what's up with Frankie? I mean, who's Frankie gonna fight next?
He gets the next title shot, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But who else are they gonna give a title shot to?
Oh man.
Like, you look at the top 5, it's the only other person would be like Cub Swanson. Like, that would be it.
Yeah, but Cub would have to fight somebody relevant first, for sure. I mean, maybe Lamas, Chan Sung Jung winner.
I do not see the UFC giving Ricardo. I mean, if Chan Sung Jung wins, then yeah, Chan Sung Jung could get another title shot, absolutely, which would be kind of ridiculous for as long as he's been off. But there's no way they pitch Ricardo Lamas up there over Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, especially yeah, for sure.
Yeah, although Edgar Aldo 3 has zero curb appeal too. So
we just gotta hope Max Holloway beats Aldo.
Yeah,
and then it'll be a little more interesting.
That's a damn tall order, but
oh yeah.
All right, so before that, pay-per-view card kicked off. David Branch, Krzysztof Jotko, middleweight bout. Branch entering the UFC with a strong win that will get nobody excited about him.
Yeah, no, this fight did nothing for nobody.
Yeah.
Except get David Branch's feet wet again.
Yeah.
A good way to debut back into the UFC. He fought a pretty safe fight. A little too conservative in my opinion, but he did enough to beat a top 10 guy. I think Jotko just didn't do enough.
He's David Branch. I mean, he was never going to not be conservative. There's no unconservative version of David Branch. He's straight out of the late era Benson Henderson school of bullshitting with where it's just like he's gonna make sure that he looks like you don't want to fight him, and that makes dudes just be like, maybe I really shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't go after this dude. He's just brushing off everything I hit him with, and he looks really big and tough, and I just shouldn't go after him.
He does have that look though, like yeah. I got something for you, but just never really does.
No, but it's
what a crap fight there, man. That was a crap fight. The crowd was booing. Yeah. Jotko was looking to the referee to help him get off of the cage, which I can't fucking stand.
No, and the ref did help him. The ref was like, yeah. anytime, but dude.
At least the commentators were ragging on the ref for that.
Yeah.
So, he'll watch that one back and be like, oh, I fucked up. But
Yeah.
boring fight.
Branch, though, yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see him move up in the top 10 because Yatko fell under that spell, and there are a couple of other fighters up there. Like, the top 10 of middleweight is getting old.
And clogged.
Vitor.
It's old, it's clogged.
Yeah. There's room, but if he starts moving up towards the top 5, that's all bad news. Like, your Luke Rockholds and Yoel Romero's and Jacare's and those dudes are they're not gonna be bullshitted by David Brand.
Well, the top 6 actually, in my opinion, is too much for anybody outside of it.
Yeah, that's
like real talk.
That's the thing.
Except for maybe Dan Kelly.
That's right. Kelly gonna go on a roll here. So, all right, before that, to close the prelims off, Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez. This was just turning into exactly the fight that everybody was ready for. And then Eddie Alvarez fucked up.
This is the MMA version of blue balls.
Yeah.
It was everything. We had Poirier being finesse and just out there, fighting how he wants to fight and hurting Alvarez, and then lets him off the hook, and Alvarez comes back and starts hurting Poirier, and it's like, yes, we have a war on our hands, and then illegal knee, followed by illegal knee, followed by Herb Dean stopping it, and anticlimactic.
Yeah. It was the best, like, Poirier's first round and a half are the best he's ever looked. That is the fighter Poirier has been trying to be for the past 5 years, which is this finesse outfighter with power who doesn't have to brawl with dudes and can pick his shots and can stay at range and be this outfighter. He's rarely ever been able to be that dude when he is, even against Jim Miller, when he tried to be, he just kind of isn't very effective, ends up getting hit a little, and is like, shit, I got to brawl, whatever. And he was being that dude, and then hurting Eddie Alvarez, it either means you either have to beat Eddie Alvarez the moment you hurt him, or you've just fucked up. Those are your only 2 options when you hurt Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, unless you can remain disciplined. If you can remain disciplined over the course of the whole fight, then you have a good chance. But I think Poirier is so new to this kind of, like you said, fighting how he wants to fight, that it just isn't quite muscle memory yet to where it's sustainable for the entire fight. So it starts to break down. And you can't do that against Eddie Alvarez, or you're going to let him back into it, as we saw. But, man, lucky for Poirier, though, Alvarez threw the illegal knee. And the best part about all of this is we're going to get to see them fight again. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm happy for that. I still, somebody was like, oh, well, DQ, no contest, what's the difference?
Big difference.
The biggest difference is pay.
Yeah, win bonuses.
Win bonuses. You get DQ'd, you get a DQ win, that's still a win. So I'm a little sad for Poirier that he didn't get that bonus money for getting hit with a DQ knee. You earned it. You ate that knee. You earned you earned an extra paycheck in there. But he was also he was going out. He went out on a limb for Eddie Alvarez post fight, telling people not to boo him, telling everybody that.
I don't think it's going out on a limb. I think it's just being a sportsman, how dare you boo Eddie Alvarez? Why are you booing Eddie Alvarez for? Because he got rocked and came back and made a mistake because he's rocked? There's no need to boo.
It's really cool of him, but he did not need to do that.
For sure. I mean, it makes him look great. Class act.
Yeah. So he's really good on Dustin Poirier, and I can't wait to see that fight again. At all.
I just hope it's 3 rounds and not 5, like some 5 main event. This needs to be a 3-rounder.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll always watch a 5-round fight with those two, honestly. All right, before that, Jason Knight, Chaz Skelly. Man, Knight's getting better. He's getting better quick.
Yeah, people are sleeping on him, man, but I honestly did not expect him to be as neutralizing on the ground as he was.
Yeah.
Skelly had nothing for him on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, no ground and pound, really. Although Knight did get a mean gash under his eye, but I have no clue how that happened. Like, absolutely no idea.
Skelly landed a few punches here and there from top control. He got a few licks in, but Knight had him wrapped up and then tired him out. Apparently broke his arm, may have broken his arm at some point. And then Knight says he broke his arm, but you never know. Like, opponents always think they hurt their opponent. Like, fighters always think they hurt their opponent more than they may have.
Yeah, and their opponent never hurt them as bad as they really did.
Yeah, exactly. But
Jason Knight, dude, he is must-see TV.
yeah,
They need to keep putting him on Fox cards. Like, he is must-see.
the big thing I saw out of him tonight that makes me really excited is that his wrestling game is starting to show up, because he has always been really easy to take down and plays guard too much. And he did that early. He did that in round 1, but in round 2, he really picked his takedown defense game up and started to put some offensive wrestling out there. Started to show a more three-dimensional ability, which is great to see, because as hard as he hits and as fast as his hands are, his striking defense is still not there. Like, that's still got a ways to go.
Yeah, he does punch with his chin up there a little bit. And that's why Skelly was tagging him. But
Yep.
Skelly had nothing after that first round. It's like once the momentum started to build for Knight, he just ran with it. And Skelly could just never get back into it.
It may be because Skelly broke his arm. That may be because Knight said he broke it in that first grappling exchange where he got the
Kimura or whatever.
the
Or,
arm
it
bars.
was like an Americana kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah. He says that he felt Skelly's arm break there.
Maybe.
So if that's true, then that's a huge, really gutsy performance from Skelly to fight for another round, like, on that.
Yeah.
But either way, fantastic performance from Jason Knight, and Hick Diaz lived up to that nickname.
Yeah, man, that's 4 in a row for him.
Yeah.
He needs to get introduced to the top 15, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's putting a run together, and like I say, I mean, there's just so many people in that featherweight division making a hard charge, and I'm really glad to see Knight win this, because I do feel that Skelly was not going to break into the top 15. Like, Skelly is the kind of dude who sits right at the edge and is a tough fight for anyone in the division, but the way his striking is, and better, there are better wrestlers and grapplers in the UFC than him. He just did not look like he was going to break through. And Knight, on the other hand, he's got a funky style to show people.
And it's hard to deal with. He's always doing something.
Yep.
Like, always, you always have to account for something. Whereas Skelly, I mean, a lot of times he's just holding on to you and looking to advance position. And although that's important, he's not doing any damage. He's not making the most of the situations, and it bites him in the ass.
There are only so many big leg drop kicks to Darth chokes you can hit in your career.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Skelly has potential. I just feel like he's never going to reach his potential.
Well, he's 32 and he's been around for 7 or 8 years now, so I mean, he's a full-fledged fighter. He's a vet.
He's got the he's gonna have that label of gatekeeper, I feel like.
Yep. All right, before that, Chase Sherman, Rashad Coulter. This was set up to be a terrible fight. Set up to be a surefire, just slog kind of stinker fight in the middle of this card. And man, does Chase Sherman love to fight his way out of a fight and then back into it. Like,
if he can fight his way back into it, but yeah,
if he can find a way back into it, he will. But if he can find a way out of a fight first, he'll also do that.
Yeah, he came out looking so sharp too. He was real light and nimble on his feet, throwing real technical combos, leg kicks for days. Looked so sharp, and then
just broke Coulter immediately with leg kicks right out of the gate.
And he's like, you know what? This is too easy. How can I want to fight of the night bonus. Let him punch me in the face a few times and let him back into this.
He he almost looked like he got himself knocked out in that second round. Like, I was just like, at one point with like a minute into round, even like 30 seconds into round 2, I was like, okay, there's no way. Like, Rashad Coulter is doing the thing out there, but there is no way he wins this fight at all. It's just not going to happen. He's gassed. He's busted his leg. He can barely stand up. And Sherman has a hell of a chin. And then Sherman's like, well, might as well let him try.
He's like, I wonder how hard he can punch.
Yeah.
Let me find out.
Let's see how hard this dude really can hit me. I'm just going to throw my face at him a bunch.
It's like you're going to war with this debuting guy on short notice, and you're trying to act like you had a short notice fight. Like, bitch, you were in training camp. Don't fucking say we got a short notice fight. Your opponent got a short notice fight. You've been in the gym training with John Jones. I see you.
And then, but then he ends up landing that elbow that knocked Coulter out, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, definitely beautiful. He's the Jean Vellante at 265. I'm convinced.
He really is. He's definitely got a serious John Vellante vibe.
I think he should fight Curtis Blades next. I think that's an excellent fight.
I don't know. You saw what Curtis Blades did in his last fight.
Well, Milstead blew his knee out, if that was his last fight.
Yeah, Milstead blew his knee out because Curtis Blades threw him across the cage.
Hey, I'm down to see it. I want to see Sherman get fed to whoever.
Yeah, Sherman, he's tough enough, and he's tough enough, and he's willing enough that he's going to be a fun fight no matter who he's facing.
Yeah, let him fight Todd Duffy. What's Todd Duffy doing?
That's right. Todd Duffy he probably has another weird nerve disorder that'll keep him out for like 4 years, and he'll still be one of the youngest heavyweights on the roster.
Yeah, that guy.
All right. So before that, James Vick, Marco Polo Reyes. Man, I really don't want to say that Vick's getting better, but he's getting a lot better.
Why don't you want to say it? I noticed it after the Dariush fight. He went out to Thailand.
Yeah.
He got back, and then in his next fight, chin was down actually for like the first time ever. And he was throwing crisp, straight combinations. And this is exactly how I saw this fight going down, actually.
In part, I didn't rate that very much because I wrote Abel Trujillo off going into that fight with James Vick.
Okay.
As like, there's just no way that Abel Trujillo wins this fight because he doesn't fight anymore. Like, Abel Trujillo does not fight like somebody who wants to win fights at this point in his career. And so I still didn't have a lot of faith in Vick's striking. He's getting better.
He just has that weird, lanky, just so game, just so down to try kind of striking that is hard to deal with. And I've seen Polo Reyes get tagged and dropped by plenty of people in his fights, and I didn't see any reason why Vick couldn't do something similar. So
yeah, my feeling on Vick was that he doesn't the way he tends to beat people is he tends to get them to not trade with him and then gets them into bad situations where they try to shoot sloppy takedowns and leave themselves exposed in grappling scrambles and things like that. He rarely just straight up like standing up.
Well, I actually spoke with him before this fight, and he told me like he has no plans of taking anybody down. Like, he's perfectly content standing up with people and let them shoot on him, and then he'll go for the submission.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, his strategy is he discourages you from boxing him, so that when people shoot on him, they make a big mistake. It's like they'll come in, rush it, put their neck out, and then he chokes them out. And I figured Reyes would not ever shoot on Vick. And so even if Vick was able to land some shots, he'd end up dealing with the guy who's sitting there throwing bombs at him and willing to come after him every minute of every round.
He almost got robbed of a knockout, honestly. They gave him a TKO, but that was like as close to a knockout as you can get without it being a knockout. But I think he should get some respect. I think
Well, as long as
He's a
he's
dangerous
attached to
fighter.
Lloyd Irvin, he's never going to get that much respect.
See, and that's the truth, man. There's a lot of shade going around about Lloyd Irvin, and I'm not even saying it's undeserved either.
No,
Uh,
it's not undeserved.
but I like James Vick. I think he's a talent, and
I got no problem with James Vick. It's just it's always going to hang over him, you know.
yeah, I think there's some fights he can definitely win though.
Oh, sure, sure. No, with his striking improved and how dangerous his grappling is. Like his striking being better is the key for him because it's it's all about like grappling has never been his problem. It was always
His
like the
chin up in the
Dariush fight.
air.
What if a dude doesn't have to grapple you? What if a dude just goes out there and whips your ass? And if he can stop people from doing that, then he's got skills, you know?
Yeah, and he even said like he's really trying to only practice and get reps in for moves that fit his body style.
Yep.
Like really cutting all the extra stuff, fighting long, working the front chokes, and it's really working for him.
Yep. It is. He looks good. He's on a long streak. I hope he
Who'd have
changes
thought?
camps, but I hope he gets some more big fights too.
Yeah.
So before that, Courtney Casey, Jessica Aguilar, Courtney Casey, another fighter that I did not expect to turn the corner and who has really turned a corner.
Yeah, she turned a corner. Aguilar did a U-turn.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here, man. But Casey came out on fire. I mean, she came out throwing her hands with confidence, landing often. Even she was scoring off her back, throwing up kicks. Like you.
Yeah, she won every minute of almost every minute of that fight just because she was landing all the offense all the time.
Yeah, Aguilar had no answers. She would find top position, like she would be able to stand over Casey, but just had no entry points, had nothing, like absolutely nothing. It was completely one sided.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like to me, it was surprising because Casey, like the biggest problem for her, and it showed up in small ways in this fight, is that she can never keep a fight where she wants it.
Right.
Getting on the feet, she'll like die. She'll pull guard. If she's winning on the ground, she'll give up top position. Whatever. She just can't keep control of a fight. And that showed up a little here. She got taken down a lot on some takedowns that she really didn't need to give up.
A lot.
But as the fight went on, too, she started to stand in the pocket with a lot more authority and stopped giving up those takedowns and just boxed Aguilar up like at the end of the fight. So it was a great turning point for Casey to show like if she's willing to just keep at the edge of the range, step into the pocket, step back out, move between those, and don't just fall over because you feel like you're willing to be active off your back. She's got power and she's got speed. She can throw hands, you know?
Yeah, I think a little bit of cage craft, and I mean she's creeping in there towards the top 10.
I mean, there's a reason that she gave Joanne Calderwood such a hard fight. And it was because when she was standing and brawling, she was doing pretty well. It was just that she would also then pull guard in the middle of it at any given moment. And, you know, if she can get that out of her game like she did late in this fight, then she can make moves. She can. I don't think we're not talking title challenger moves, but we're talking like top 5 gatekeeper moves in that division.
Yeah, I mean, it really wouldn't be hard considering. I mean, if you look at who you have from 15 to 6, even to 5, I mean, those are beatable people, all of them.
Yeah,
Maybe not T. Torres, but everybody else. I mean, but I'm excited. I really, I think this division is exciting as is. So more people marching towards that title, the better. Because I mean, let's be honest. Joanna Champion, she needs challengers.
Oh yeah, meat for the beast. All right. Before that, Enrique Barzola, Gabriel Benitez, back and forth, fun fight, good fight. Barzola keeps getting better. He keeps showing up. He keeps showing that he's just like the toughest, hardworking dude that you can imagine.
Yeah, man. It's I'm glad he won the decision because I scored it for him, and
Oh, I did too.
I thought he did enough to get it done. But I absolutely love the way he sets up his takedowns. I mean,
Yeah,
he works it. He will like put hands in your face and then duck under when you don't even see it coming. And the way he follows through with his takedowns are so beautiful. And I think that's why he often gets them. I mean, he's just all in with them,
yeah.
and he's pretty complete.
This fight started out exactly like I thought it would, with Benitez hitting harder, being cleaner, getting up every time Barzola took him down. But Barzola keeps a pace that fighters just can't match. Like, even when he's eating shots, if you're not knocking him out, if you're not hurting him bad, he will be on you all the way until the end of the fight, going after takedowns, going after position, ground and pound, and throwing hands. Like, he's not afraid to come after people, even though he doesn't have a lot of power. He's in there to try and hurt people,
And he's smart about it too.
yep.
You know, he wasn't just going to stand there and brawl with Benitez like he wanted him to. But in the last 10 seconds of the third round, he obliged him and he got dropped for it.
Yeah,
Almost cost him the fight.
yeah. It very, very easily. I would not have been sad. And actually, now that I think about it, I may have scored it for Benitez on that because it was like such a damaging moment. Like, nothing is more important and damaging in a fight than getting dropped.
Yeah.
But
The only reason I didn't give that round to Benitez is because Barzola, if you watch, when he was dropped, he was looking at Benitez the whole time as he's standing up and everything.
Yeah.
His eyes were there.
Yeah, even
from the television.
Yeah. Either way, I'm glad Barzola won. He's getting better. He keeps showing up. He keeps showing that he's improving, and he's a fun fighter. Like,
and he's down to fight Mexicans, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Those are going to be exciting.
It'll always be a fun fight. So we'll open the card now. Gadzhimurad Antigulov, Joachim Christensen. Antigulov, like, I still wonder if he can fight that way past a round, maybe a round and a half. But in first rounds, dude is a stone cold killer.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that Christensen was going to be able to last a little bit longer. He's a pretty tough, like, luggish kind of dude. But fuck, man, this was a smoke check. A flawless victory. Like, absolutely perfect. As dominant as it gets. 2 minutes and 21 seconds was all it took.
Well, and the thing you could see, too, in that fight, if you were watching, so, like, Christensen was hand fighting really well with Antigulov on his back. Like, he had 2-on-1. He's doing what he could to keep the choke from getting in. And Antigulov wasn't even, like, concerned about hand fighting at all. All it was just get the arm on the bicep. And the moment he did that, like, it did not matter how many hands Christensen had on his arm. He was getting squeezed to death. Like, Christensen's face turned purple in seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Christensen's just, he's like barely UFC caliber, I feel like. Like, he's right there.
He's a big, tough dude, but he's not a very good athlete at all.
Nah.
But Antigulov also just has all sorts of squeeze, and he's a great athlete. Like,
this is the wrong division to be a poor athlete.
Yeah. Light heavyweight. Everybody who succeeds at light heavyweight is an exceptional, next-level elite athlete.
Yeah. But where does Antigulov go from here?
Well, there are dudes coming up, and there's Jordan Johnson. There's what's his name?
Tyson Pedro is a little interesting.
Yeah, there's Tyson Pedro out there. There's who's the dude that oh man,
Devin Clark's out there too.
Devin Clark. Antigulov, I think would take Devin Clark's lunch money, unfortunately for Devin. But they're getting some big athletic dudes in that division to make fights in it. So I'm excited to see, like. Oh yeah, here we go. I got the list. You got, like, Khalil Roundtree's winning up, and
well, he's about to fight Paul Craig.
He's about to fight Paul Craig. He's
The
about to
winner
fight
of
Paul
that.
Craig. Cannonier and Bossy are gonna fight.
Mhm.
You know, like the winner of that fight, Antigulov could take that. You got Francimar Barbosa out there. Like,
I always forget about him.
always forget about him. Coming off a win over Darren Stewart. Francimar Barbosa is just there to be set up against young dudes who may be able to beat him or may not be ready at all. Like, Antigulov, that's a perfect fight. Like, throw him in there, see what happens.
I'm with it, man. I'm definitely with it. But
Yeah.
what for Christensen? I want to see him fight Ion Kutalaba.
Yeah. Kudalaba's got that. He's got that Luis Henrique de Silva fight going up where they're matching Frankenstein against the Hulk.
Okay.
So loser of that could fight Christensen.
Well, Christensen already fought Frankenstein. He lost by
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He got submitted.
which was asinine, and that's why for the betting odds for this for Bloody Elbow, I picked Antigulov inside the distance at like -140.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting subbed by Frankenstein after you rocked him from from bottom guard, like you're not gonna last.
No. It was set up for Antigulov to have a first round sub win. It's back to the top. Stipe Miocic. Who the hell does he fight next?
Man, maybe fucking Cain Velasquez. DC was pushing for it at the end of the broadcast, but man, Cain, does he even fight still?
I don't know. I mean,
Like,
I can't.
not
That's the
excited
thing.
to watch Cain fight at all. Like, I'm not.
I can't remember the last time I saw Cain Velasquez fight.
Wasn't it Travis Brown?
Was it? Probably.
Yeah, it was a first round knockout of Travis Brown.
Man, everybody knocks out Travis Brown these days.
That's what I'm saying. And like before that, it was his loss to Fabricio. Before that, it was JDS in 2013. So I mean, this dude doesn't even fight anymore.
Cain Velasquez. I mean, it is a fresh fight for Stipe, so
which is cool.
But it is real. Like nobody has any momentum in that division at all right now,
except for Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis.
Yeah. Except for Francis Ngannou, but nobody who's like ready to challenge for a title right now has any momentum.
I would still like to see it though.
Yeah,
Ngannou and Stipe. I think that's acceptable. Or if Derek Lewis gets past Mark Hunt, why not? Like, why not?
That's true. Derek Lewis and Ngannou are the dudes that like. If Cain Velasquez gets injured again, if he can't be ready, if he's not going to be ready to fight Stipe, one of those dudes is going to be in title contention.
If those two aren't about to fight each other, then I would hope that consecutively they get to fight for the title. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Pipe dreams.
Otherwise, Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk probably coming at us at a card in the near future. Whatever the odds are on Rose, I would not bet on Rose in that fight.
No, I wouldn't bet on Rose at all. I would bet that fight starts round 2. But yeah, man, it's I'm excited for it though. I think it'll be a game fight.
No, after fights like this, you gotta always be excited for Joanna Jędrzejczyk getting out there. She's doing the prime Anderson Silva thing where even when it's just a showcase win, it's always a good time.
Yeah, I mean, she's must-see TV. Like, way to put the strawweight division on the map. Like, like Mighty Mouse is struggling to do that with the 125, and she's over here, you know.
Him turning down that Dillashaw fight, just what? Why?
Well, I think he just wants to get that consecutive title defenses.
Fuck that. Fuck.
But he's chasing history books, like, you know.
Chase a history book through TJ Dillashaw. Like,
yeah, he's going for respect though, and he can get respect if he could be mentioned because of title defenses or whatever. Like, he needs those accolades to make people care.
All right, we're getting way off topic here. On that note, you can find me on Twitter at TheZaneTime. You can find Eddie on Twitter at TheEddieMercado. You can find both of us over at BloodyElbow.com. Watch this video on YouTube. Give us a like. That's a thumbs up thing down there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, MMANation.com. That's DOTCOM. That's where you get all the latest Bloody Elbow shows, videos, analysis, all that good stuff. I'll be no UFC event next week, so we will be back with the MMA Depressed Us. If I did it, heavy hands, knuckle up, all that, all our normal week in, week out shows that are there for you, whether there's a UFC event or not. And so join us, and you will see us next time, and we'll probably hear from you in the comments. Thanks, everyone.